Welcome to My Business Matters, the Michigan Chamber podcast.
Hi, everyone. I'm Leah Robinson, the Michigan Chamber's Director of Legislative Affairs and Leadership Programming. One of my jobs is heading up a special initiative within the Chamber, the Michigan ATHENA program, which is our women's leadership organization. That's why I'm so excited to welcome you to today's podcast. We're going to be talking to a mid-Michigan trailblazer, a local news legend, and a great friend, anchor Sheri Jones of WLNS TV 6, who also happens to be the current and incoming chair of the Chamber's Michigan ATHENA Advisory Council. We'll be discussing women's leadership development and why that's so key in the business community. We'll also share some great upcoming learning and networking opportunities. We've got so much to talk about, so let's get started. Sheri, you're a legend in Lansing and mid-Michigan broadcasting, but help our listeners learn a little bit more about you and what you got and how you got into this line of work.
Well, Leah, thank you so much for having me on the podcast today. I'm super thrilled to be here and to talk about Michigan ATHENA, and very grateful for the Michigan Chamber and the support that it has given to this platform. So legend, probably because I've been around for 35 years, maybe.
Or because you're incredibly talented.
Well, thank you. But, this has been a passion of mine since I was even in high school. It's transcended that. And going into Michigan State University, I was on the student radio show. I worked for the local cable television. I always had a passion to decide, do I want to be a lawyer or do I want to be a journalist? So I thought, I'm going to try television journalism first because I can always go back to law school. Right. But here I am, 35 years with the same television station, which is so unique. But I am so grateful because it's truly about embracing the community and the passion for the community and looking around the community and saying, what are people struggling with? What are people in need of? And helping to formulate a lot of initiatives that TV6 is doing and has done in the past decade. So taking a look at mental health during the pandemic, taking a look at the opioid epidemic when that was really before even the national forefront on that, to talk about suicide prevention, sex trafficking. So I take a look at big community issues and then break them down with the support of my news director and our staff, and we go deeper. So that has been really a blessing because when you go out to the grocery store, people will come up to you and say, thank you for talking about the opioid epidemic because my nephew is struggling, my grandson is struggling. Thank you for providing us with resources. So it's kind of be that voice, the voice for people that, might not always have that platform, and using that platform to make a huge difference. And that's really one of the biggest benefits. And being invested in this community with which I love. I love Mid-Michigan, Michigan State University. I bleed green. Going through that whole situation earlier this year was very difficult, but supporting, being strong and being there for the community. So that's what keeps me going.
I think that your line of work and why you got into it exemplifies who you are as a person and how much you get involved truly and purposefully and intentionally with what you do. I know we wanted to talk about Michigan ATHENA with you specifically, but you are involved in so many other community aspects. So can you speak to a little bit about what you do besides Michigan ATHENA before we get into that?
Yes, thank you for that opportunity. So Child and Family Charities my commitment to that organization came out when I was the crime beat reporter for TV6, and I would anchor the 11 o'clock news, and then I would go out on drug raids with the police. And that was before the Supreme Court said, no, you just have to stay on the sidewalk. By then, I could go right into the house right after the start team, got the weapons, got the people in handcuffs. But what I saw were children, small children who were in really horrific living conditions at no fault of their own. And I thought someday I'm going to do something to help them when I have a little more cred. Well, then partnering with Child and Family Charities, we were able to build Angel House, which is a home that is still in operation down in Mason that takes young people through abuse and neglect, also teen foster moms who are coming into being in motherhood and helping them get back on their feet, helping them transition into a successful lifestyle. And for children for abuse and neglect, it's a temporary stop before they go into foster care or are reunited. So that project has been something I've been committed to for over a decade.
Wow.
Well, now Child and Family Charities is taking over the brand new the old McLaren property, actually, on Green Lawn. And I'm part of the capital campaign to raise $12 million in this community through local, county, state funds. Right now, we're in the grassroots effort. We set $1 million goal, and we have about $500,000 to go.
Wow.
So we've already cut the ribbon on the Jackson House, which is it's a temporary housing for runaway youth, which is a huge problem in Ingham County. So women and children, abuse and neglect, runaway teens, teen court, those things are very important to me. So that and juvenile diabetes is a big. I have helped them, the Coleman Foundation for breast cancer. So there's a lot of things that touch my heart, and therefore I'm willing to invest the time.
For our listeners, when Sheri gets involved, she truly means it, and she commits her time and does so willingly. And it's been a pleasure working with you and having you as the Michigan Athena Advisory Council Chair for the past few years. And speaking of, how did you get involved with Michigan Athena, Athena International, and Martha Mertz?
Well, I had known about Martha Mertz many times just because of her career and how she started Athena International. I helped the Lansing Regional Chamber of Commerce with their annual awards, and so I would help be part of the presentation for the Athena Award to Paula Cunningham, to Senator Stabenow, to all these people. Well, one time I was hosting the event at the Lansing Center, and my microphone went dead. And I'm like, what is going on? And I mean, there's like 1,200 people in this room. My microphone. And all of a sudden on the screen is Paula Cunningham. And she's like, Sheri, I'm going to take over the program. I said, what is happening? And they were talking about me getting the award. And they totally surprised me that I got the Michigan Athena Award. My family, my children, my parents, my sister, everyone is walking up to the stage.
Did you know they were there?
No, had no idea.
Oh, I love that.
So I had already had so much respect for the Athena Award and what it means in this community and in this state and in this country and internationally for women, the leadership model that I truly believe in. And then I received the award. So that was a highlight for me. People always say, I have that award on my desk. That statue, that sculpture is just, to receive that it's a pinnacle in my career. So that was in 2006.
Okay.
So now here we are. In about 7 years, Martha came to me and asked me to serve on Athena International. So I started in that capacity. And then Mary Ann Samper and Rochelle Neal, they wanted to create Michigan Athena. So all the local programs could have an entity to go to for that cohesive information.
Okay.
And I said, I'd love to be a part of that. And here we are, thriving because of the Michigan Chamber, because of you, because of Kristen Belzer, people that really support the platform. And that's one good thing that came out of the pandemic is the virtual aspect that's helped us really grow and meet people where they are and provide them with incredible programming. So for me to be blessed to be able to have local connection, statewide connection, and international connection with the Athena leadership model, it's incredible.
I talked to Martha Mertz, and for our listeners that don't know, Martha Mertz essentially founded the Athena leadership model. She also has a book out called Becoming Athena, and it outlines the 8 principles to kind of the ideal leadership model. So when I talked with Martha a few weeks back, she said, anyone that could tell my story just as well as me would be Sheri. And so I want to know, can you give a little bit of background on Martha's story and why she started the Athena model?
Yes, for sure. She was one of the very first female voices at the table for the chamber. And
for the Lansing Chamber?
Yes, for the Lansing Chamber. And one of the men, she's very good about just kind of waiting, listening, and then speaking. And it's something that we all should remember, right? We should listen, 2 ears, 1 mouth, right? We need to listen twice as much as we do speak. So she was at the table, and she started talking about women leaders. And one of the men said, what are you, women don't lead. And she said, excuse me? He's like, women don't lead. Well, we have a different style of leadership. We're more collaborative. We build relationships. We listen and speak. It's not like this is the way it's going to happen. We're very, I really think the collaboration. We're authentic. We advocate for ourselves, for our female partners. So she was like, oh, yes, we are. And she thought, you know what? I'm going to talk about what it is to be a female leadership. They're probably more intrinsic values than they are your typical leadership skills. And she likes to say that you combine those with the typical leadership skills, which are maybe more male-oriented, with a more intrinsic value system that women bring. But what's great about our program is that men resonate with this too. It talks more about a well-rounded leadership model.
Yeah, I recently had someone say to me, you can't have female leadership without men at the table.
Yes.
And I think that's so true. It's a collaborative effort.
Right.
So with that being said, for the next incoming generation of female leaders, what piece of advice would you give them?
Well, you definitely have to have allies, male allies. That's what we like to call them. I mean, if you look at my career, if it weren't for my news director, Ross Woodstock, if it wasn't for some people in the law enforcement community, Chief Reeve Snyder, when I asked him, sir, I would like to start a program that looks at unsolved homicides. And he looked at me as a 23-year-old sorority girl, and I wanted to be the crime beat reporter, and I wanted to do this. And he was like, okay, I had to really prove myself. But he believed in me, and I'm still the voice of Crime Stoppers after all these years. So you need people in your life, male and female, that can advocate for you. So I really believe if I were going to talk to the next male or female,
right,
I would say you need to advocate for yourself. You need to say, this is what I want, and you take the steps to get there. You surround yourself with people that can mentor you, advise you, support you, believe in you, encourage you. That's why CEO networks work so well, right? And you have to advocate for yourself. I recently helped a colleague who I knew this job would be perfect for her. And she's like, well, I don't know. And I said, why don't you just go through the process? Don't take yourself out of the job before you even try. You think, you might look at the internet and think that's something I can do, but I don't know. Well, just go through it. Well, of course, she went through it. She loved it. She got the job. She's doing well. But don't take yourself out. And I've done that before. I'm like, well, men don't do that. Men go right in full force, and then they think about it later. Even if they don't have the training, they go back to their desk and go, oh no. We go like, well, maybe this person would be better qualified, or maybe this person would, or I'm not qualified. No. You advocate, you learn. That's one of our principles too, learning constantly, which is very important. We should be reading, we should be listening to podcasts, we should be investing in our own, because listen to this. Someone told me this once. Like, you are just beginning. If you read, like, you pick something you really want to learn about, and if you read a book or you did a podcast every day, in 20 years, you're an expert.
Right.
You're
Absolutely.
an expert. And so we have to invest in ourselves for things like that. So I would say advocate fiercely, learn how to build relationships, get a network, get someone that will be a mentor to you. And kind of to spend that time with them as a mentor that can help. They've already made a lot of mistakes, and
Right.
they can help you kind of maybe avoid some of those pitfalls.
In that same vein, I applied for a job one time, and I was just going to go through the usual channels of applying and waiting, and then I had someone reach out to me and say, if you want it, go up to his office, go in, sit down, and say, I want this job. And I did, which was kind of out of character for me because I was very much a rule follower at the time and was just going to wait until someone else recognized what I had rather than myself recognizing it and taking the the bull by the horns. And so I walked into his office. I said, I want this job. And I got the job.
It's awesome.
It was very cool.
Yeah, advocating for yourself, advocating fiercely. Right. If it's really what you want, then let the person know that's hiring, this is really what you want. But we think, oh, we're going to be recognized. Someone will recognize me. Not always. Mm-hmm. Good for you.
Right. But, and to your point, that collaboration, that conversation with someone else is my idea of why Michigan Athena matters so much, because we can rely on other people that have had maybe not even a longer career, but different experiences. Mm-hmm. I mean, granted, we do have both of those in the Michigan Athena program. So what makes you excited about Michigan Athena, and why do you think people should get involved?
Again, I think the learning about the Athena leadership model, it's a model that's not traditionally taught. Fair. So it's very important that we understand our intrinsic values, what we bring to the table. And she lays that out beautifully in the 8 principles of enlightened leadership. And I think I take that book, and at different times when I know, I have to build a relationship, mm-hmm. I will read that chapter again. Or if I need to advocate for myself, if I'm negotiating a brand new contract and I need to get kind of empowered, I'm going to read that. So, but being authentic, and that's what I see in you, authenticity. And it's extremely important. So when you did go up to that boss, you were being authentic. You were advocating yourself. You're letting this person know this is what you want. So Michigan Athena teaches that. They teach all the different aspects, and that's what's so great about our cohorts that we do, our upcoming seminars, our virtual mm-hmm. seminars, and the chat on the side. And if mm-hmm. something resonates with you, you can put your information in there right now. And I love the topics that we have chosen. And we're hundreds of people, hundreds of men and women are coming to these. They're hungry for this. There will always be what in my business we call nuggets, right. Nuggets to take. I still take nuggets out of these. I'm like, oh yeah, that's good advice, because it's a shared experience of what we're having virtually, and soon we're going to have an in-person event, which I know you mm-hmm. want to talk about. But we're having a shared experience, and then other people that are on that platform, they chime in with their experiences, and sometimes you say, yeah, that's me.
Right.
That is me.
Absolutely.
And so. But you can't have that conversation. You need to have Michigan Chamber of Commerce. You need to have Michigan Athena to put that platform out there for you. And you might meet someone in there, or even learn something about the person that's hosting that you want to connect with later. Mm-hmm. And we've had that happen. We've had that mentor relationship, or just feeling empowered. Like, we need to feel empowered. Whenever you leave any kind of discussion, whether it's listening to a podcast or you want to feel like, yes, mm-hmm. I need to go make this change. I need to do better at this. I need to be more authentic. And really, that's what we do with Michigan Athena. We just kind of shed light on different ways to approach life, your personal life, your professional life, your family, your community. It's all wrapped in there together.
In my opinion, I think a great aspect of a good leader is the desire to learn and mm-hmm. continue to grow. And I think that is why Michigan Athena has been so popular, and the 8 Athena principles have been so popular, because people want to better themselves. They are hungry for that specific thing that develops them, not only professionally, but personally, which I'm extremely excited. We're going to have our first in-person event since COVID in September 20th. It is our in-person leadership summit. You can find out information about that at www.michamber.com/miathena. I'm so excited. I am so excited for the conversations. I'm so excited for everyone that has been on a webinar to finally meet in person, because they've been talking to each other. If you are not a part of the Michigan Athena family, you should get involved, because we have an incredibly popping chat in our Zoom webinar.
Absolutely.
It's quite insane. So I'm really looking forward to that. So before we wrap up here, what is something you want to leave with our listeners today?
I want people to know that they have value, that they are worthy, that they are totally worthy of whatever they want. They have to dream big. They have to advocate for themselves. They have to learn how to build relationships and really learning more intrinsically about our gifts and talents. And the Michigan Athena program can help reveal that for you. We're so grateful for the Michigan Chamber to have this on. When you go to the website, there's the drop down. You click on it. It's everything that you need to know. That has helped us grow. That has helped us be very successful. I know that we are just beginning to talk about the September event, and people are already interested. And so I really encourage anyone who's listening to the podcast today to please go do that. And then when you come in September and visit, say, hey, I heard about this on the podcast. Yeah. That would make us feel really happy. Yeah. But I think it's people like, well, I'm not this or I'm not that. Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Walk into the office, ask for the job.
Absolutely. Ask for the job. Ask for the raise. You just, your limits sometimes are imposed by yourself. So just believe and really get that book, Becoming Athena, and take a deep dive into it and look at it. And it's life-changing. I've had friends go through the cohort and they've left their job. They've got new jobs. They're realizing there's more out there for them to feel good about what they're doing, giving back. Okay, so that is my mantra, right? I mean, take the gifts and talents that you have and give back. Make the community a better place. You don't have to change the world. Just make the corner of your world better. Just the corner of your world. Help one person. And that's what Michigan Athena does. It teaches all those things. A lot of people have never heard of it. We're talking about it right now in jails. So when women are transitioning out of jail into the community, we're giving them this book, these principles, and they've never heard of anything like this before. It's life-changing.
Well, for everyone listening, if you're wondering if Sheri Jones is as amazing as she sounds, it is very much true. As you can tell. Sheri, thank you so much for being with me today, and of course for always supporting me and being an incredible friend and the chair of the Michigan Athena Advisory Board.
My honor and my pleasure. Thank you.
Well, for anyone that wants to get involved with Michigan Athena, we have an upcoming event on August 29th. It is about embracing assertiveness, the power of balanced leadership, and then our in-person event, September 20th, and that will be at the University Club of MSU. So you can get involved at www.michamber.com/miathena. Thank you so much.